Hi there, and welcome to my quick three-part video on using Scrivener to help design your games. Games in this case can be for mini engine or any resource. I like to use the OHR RPG CE because it's easy and I'm not much of a programmer. I'm more of a storyteller. But I do like the idea of organizing my way through designing whatever I'm working on. So Scrivener, I think, is a great way of doing that. And fortunately, I figured out how to use it not too long ago through other instructionals. So I want to show you how you can use it for your game design because that's something I don't think is out there or talked about very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, first of all, my design journal for the OHR game I've been designing for since 2009 called Entrepreneur at the Beginning. And as you can see in this journal, this is done in Microsoft Word. It's really kind of basic to the point. I just write whatever it is I have to say about that day. Sometimes I'll post pictures in there, and I think it's really helpful to give whenever you're doing a design journal to be as thorough as you can with your entries so you can kind of keep track of what you're doing. But one of the disadvantages of using Microsoft Word or anything of the like is that you've got to remember where everything is located, and sometimes that requires having another system in play on top of what you've already got, and that can be cumbersome really quickly. So what I may want to do instead is to have a more organized way of keeping my not only my journal intact, but all the resources I might use. So if I go to Scrivener, I can show you what my project looks like there. Now, I recently ported everything over here, and it's actually very easy to port to Scrivener. But what you can see initially what Scrivener is it's a system where you can have all of your files in one place. So you'll see all of these journal entries over here. I did not manually port these over. There is a function in Scrivener that allows you to do this very quick and easily, which I'll show you before this video ends. But you can see how if you get down to the bottom, you've got all these different resources here. So I want to just kind of go over a quick overview of what I'm using this particular journal for, and then I'll do another video on scripting and the third one on dialogue and whatnot. So kind of keep with me here. I'll keep each of these short, but you'll see in the first version here, I've got the May 12th, 2009 entry. It's got its own spot. Over here, I got in the inspector the various note cards and notes and things. For ease, I just copy the same because what you can do is if you go into the corkboard through the folder, you can see all of your entries in one spot, and this is a basic overview. So like on 12, I'm focusing on introductory plans and design. On the 13th, continuation, the first day's development. So you can tell you can remind yourself what each one is, and then if you go over to the outliner, you should be able to click on each individual thing. But if you go by the folder, you can have all of your entries in one place. Another thing you can do is if you want to just review a couple of these together, just click on the two that you want, and then you can see them together, and that's it. And if you just want to click on the one, you can have just the one. But another thing that's cool for organization is, let's say you want to keep a track of all of your particular style. Like let's say if I'm going to go into this thing called the keywords, which you can do your own. If I go to, let's say, the May 18th, which is where I was looking at on the Word version here, as you can see. We talked about, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. It doesn't matter. You can read for yourself. It's been so long since I wrote this, I don't remember what any of this is about. But if you go to my version of the journal, you can see how I've got keywords here. So let's look at town design, for example. Let's say I want to search for all the entries that focus on town design. What I can do is I can, let's see, can I click on it? Well, I can do a general keyword search for exact phrase, town design. And what it's going to do is it's going to search for all my journals that have the word town design. So if you look over here in the search results, all my current entries. Now, I've only updated up through September 30th, 2012. I got 5 more years worth of journals to update with keywords and whatnot. But as you can see, each of the journals that have the town design keyword attached are automatically found. And this is one way you can keep better track of where you are. So if you're designing, let's say, one of your dungeons and and you want to keep track of every dungeon that your, let's say your slime enemies are found, and you can't remember exactly where they all are, your design journal may actually have a keyword that says slimes in it. So you can click on the search for slimes, and wherever your journals have the word slimes listed, it'll pop up. So that's one thing that's pretty cool about the keywords. And then just on top of that, have your document notes. So if you want to make any other additional notes, like maybe you have a need to come back to this, or maybe you reviewed one of your journals and you want to update your card, edit, come back to this entry later. It has important stuff. You can make that note, and then if you ever go to your corkboard for, we'll get rid of the time design, was that June 17th. If I go to the 2010 list for corkboard, June 17th, there it is. There's my little edit there. Now I don't actually want that because I am taking this journal seriously, so I'll get rid of that. But if you ever make changes and you don't like them, there's something called a snapshot, which takes a picture of your current entry, and it's sort of like a save, but you can revert. If you ever get Scrivener, you can figure that stuff out on your own, or you can take one of the training videos that they have out there on Udemy or any of the other places, or even on YouTube, to see how to use these special features. But the main purpose of this video is to show how you can use Scrivener to help design your games in a way that's useful. So let's go ahead and we'll click on another example here. So over here I've got folders where I've got my version 1.0 folder. Everything that I've got regarding version 1.0 I can have show up in one spot, or again I can go to the corkboard where I can click on the actual document and it shows all the features that I have in 1.0. And if I go to my 1.1 log, I've got all the things that I've got for 1.1, 1.2, and so forth. So it makes it real easy to find your way around. Another thing you can do too is if you want to get really crazy is if you have research. If you go down to the research panel, you've got all these different things. You can actually go to, depending on what you want, you can highlight areas of interest. So like for me, I have my link to Entrepreneur Central, which is my post for On Slime Salad for my game. So if I click on that, and it's probably going to show up big because I got my screen tiny, but like if I click on Entrepreneur Central, just give it a second to load, it'll take me to the site. Now it does use Microsoft Explorer. I don't know if you can change the default to Firefox or any of those, but the point is I can actually link to my website quickly, and then now I can go back and view all of my entries on that particular. I probably need to make this larger. It's very possible too that Internet Explorer is not very good. But anyway, that's one thing I can do quickly, and then I have one on the weekly game talk, and then I got my game page. But it's also cool too is I have one for the reviews. So if I want to look up any of the various reviews, I've got links there. There's one for Hamster Speak. I'm not going to click on all these, but you can kind of get a point. There's also a spot for video files, or at least I created one. So you can click on any of the video files, and ideally it'll load it up. Now I don't know how quick this will be, but if I hit play, maybe it'll work. Oh yeah, it does.
So it's been a while.
That's
since
pretty
I've
cool.
done a recording on
We're not going to watch it though. I just wanted to show you that it's there. And then I got additional files where I've got, there's a PDF I found on coffee. So if I need quick research, I can look through here. And then I've got my Excel spreadsheet. If I click on that, this is where all my items are. I think this may show up large, I don't know. Take a couple seconds, but maybe a couple more seconds. But anyway, I had, oh, here it is. So this is my my item sheet here. Let me just draw so you can see it. Again, I'm using a smaller resolution for the recording. That's why you're not seeing the full high HD resolution like I intended. But I tried doing it and it just did some really screwy things. But if I look at, let's say, food prep stats here, this is my Excel sheet. Now, it's going to do a copy of my actual one. So if you ever do an update, you may want to re-import it. But I mean, again, it's quick reference. Close it out. You know. It's just really useful. And then I don't know what this is. This is my instruction guide. If I need to refer to that, but also I've got you can do graphics. So this is my map of Hybrid City. If I need to do a quick test, just make sure everything is looking good. And then I got my introductory script. Now this is going to be important. I'm going to come back to this in the third video on how to do screenplays in Scrivener for a quick reference. But then I've also got one on my plot scripts and just basically even one on spelling notes. So the thing about using Scrivener is it's really useful. I mean, there's no other way around it. It's just a useful system to keep your stuff organized so that you know where everything is. And, you know, if you need to, you know, you can make up your own keywords in order to keep track of everything. So like, you know, latte mixer, I assume that latte mixer is in here somewhere. Oh, and it's also cool too is I kind of skipped over it, but I've got a section for my ideas. These are the things I want to do in the future. But I also have one for implemented features where I can keep track of the things I still need to do. So this is useful if you're going through your journal for all the tags that say unimplemented features. You can skim through each journal entry to see what you still haven't done yet and then put it in a list. I made this list up, so you have to do your own system. Same thing with needs review. Anything that I may not want to keep or I may want to change the way things are done. I've got a list of the journal entries that talk about them, what I might want to do about them, and so forth. But you treat it like you do any other word processor, but it's just so much more than that. You know, if you go into the research section, you can add your PDFs, you can add your sound files, whatever it is you need to keep yourself organized. It's useful. Now, I want to show you how easy it is to port your journal into. Oh, actually, one more thing. Sorry. If you don't want to look at all this stuff, you can collapse your menu so that if you want to just look at one year at a time or one folder at a time. I made up each of these folders here. I designed myself. This is not something that Scrivener automatically does for you. Again, you need to figure it out. But it's a quick way to keep organized. But anyway, I want to go ahead and I want to open up a new tab so you can see what it looks like to port a journal. So if we go to blank, I'm going to do one on Hybrid Mystery Park, which is another entrepreneur design journal. And we'll just say the Scrivener edition. I can probably do this more, do another version of this later. So we'll create it. So we'll give that a second to think. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I got a new blank journal. Now, I wanted to show you how easy it is. So I have, if I go into Word, I've got this Hybrid Mystery Park right here. It's not very long. It's just, you know, the journal goes up to, well, that's new, but I got not very many. So what I may want to do is I want to do a quick pagination. When you import into Scrivener, you want to tell Scrivener how to import each section. So normally you'd use hashtags because Scrivener is mainly designed for writers, but anybody who programs knows hashtag is not the best choice because that has your comments. So I'm going to use a tilde in this case. So I'm going to find all my entries for each date. Now, in Entrepreneur, at the beginning, I went month to month and I just did a search and replace. I'm not going to do that here because it's I don't have that many entries, to be honest. So I'm just going to do we'll do up to April 4th. You get the idea with April 4th. So we're gonna, I've not saved that yet. I'm gonna do a save version, save as, put in my documents to, all right, we're gonna call it, what do we want to call this? We'll do Scrivener port, and then save. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the journal for that, and we're going to import and split. So I've already set the tilde here because that's what I did for the last journal. So I'm going to look for, I'm going to actually find my document here. So it's in backup for organization. And then Hybrid Mystery Park Scrivener port, open, and then we're going to hit OK. And what you're going to see is when it imports, I did not import, hold on, we got to do this through Draft, I think. Let's try that again. Import and split. Sign, okay, open. There we go, okay. So you actually have to set it on draft. It takes a little bit of planning, but if you have it in a folder, which you can do like this, we'll say, we'll call this version 1.0. We can move that to the top, and then we'll click all of these and move these over so they all belong to version 1.0. And then this will just move to trash because we don't need it. So now we've got the design journal, we've got all the entries here. Okay, now April 4th, I didn't split it, so if I want to split it in sections, I can go to Documents, Split at Selection, and now, we can keep doing it that way. Documents, Split at Selection. It does, give me these subsets because it, treats it as a scene, so I will want to probably just copy and then write it over there, and then we have the actual name. As you can see, it's flipped. So it's real simple to do that. And then if there's anything else you want to do in its place, you just do that. So it's simple, it's cool, it's quick and easy. And that's how you do importing. And if you want to open the inspector, you just click this little button here and you say, hi, this is my entry for April 13, 2014, and boom. So anyway, I wouldn't actually use that. I'm probably going to kill this file at some point and start over, but that's how you can do your journal. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to see you again in part 2.